Good morning. Good Monday morning. And more importantly, good April 1st, late morning to all of you who are watching today's live stream, whether you're watching this on demand, maybe later as a recording, because guess what? It's Monday. You can't play too much hooky at work because your boss is looking over your shoulder. Maybe that's your situation. Or if you are watching this as a live stream, certainly welcome to you. And let's make sure you're at the right place. You're in our episode today of Flipping That House. And in a little bit, I'm going to bring in my co host and a guest today. We're going to start off with a special guest to talk about what her family business is all about. And then my co host will wrap up today's episode of, like I said, Flipping That House. So here's the one thing I think I know. I've never been the one driving a complete flip. Whether you're flipping, fixing and flipping or fixing to holding, I've been a part of some syndicates, if you will. My family and we've fixed some properties and retained them as rentals. So that's my story. But today, my co-hosts and special guests are going to talk about and share their perspectives on this entire big picture and on the outcomes that matter to you, all of you who are watching today. So all of this being said, we know this, right? When you may be picking up a distressed property, that ugly duckling on the block, and you want to make it your prince or princess, there are several partners, players involved that you have to make sure you get the right team on deck. You have to manage them, and they start with maybe an electrician. Usually next is maybe a plumbing contractor. And then last one, right? The old cliche of, hey, do you have the great roof over your head? You've got to have a great roofing contractor. So with all of that said, let me bring in my co-host, Cataline, so that he's ready to help me ask some great questions. And then we're going to bring in our special guest, Jackie, into the conversation as well. Good morning, Cataline.
Good morning and happy April 1st and happy beginning of second quarter of the year. I hope you guys are pumped and ready to crush it. And I'm so excited to be here with Bill and Jackie and get some questions going and see how we can add as much value as possible in your life. So thanks for having us, and let's get Jackie in.
Yeah. Hey, before we get Jackie in, I gotta ask you the question, Kathleen. Have you already played some April Fool's jokes on people?
I was thinking about it. But no, in my industry, no. We actually have a closing at 12 o'clock. So I was thinking to send my clients a text message saying, "Hey, closing has been canceled." But no, that's a terrible joke.
That would be a terrible joke. Yeah, that would be a terrible joke because you and I both know the business of real estate is sometimes a roller coaster ride, and you don't want to get people too freaked out, right?
I'll stick to my kids.
Stick to the family members and kids. All right. So let's welcome Jackie into the studio. Hello,
Hi.
Jackie. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you doing? Good. I'm really doing good.
Hey, Jackie.
Thank you for having me here today.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for sharing some of your time with us. By the way, audience members, the reason why I did the intro as Jackie's our special guest is because, well, lucky for Catalina and myself, initially it was going to be her husband that was going to be the guest. But I'll be honest with you, I think Catalina, you and I might agree, we probably will agree, it's the other half in our households that are the drivers, the bosses, and the decision makers, right?
Always. I agree. Always. Happy life.
All right. So with that said, Jackie, why don't we start off with warming you up with some simple questions. From what I think I know.
I'm sorry. On me a little bit.
Sure. I said, let's start off with a simple question to warm you up. With what I
Okay.
think I know, you own a women-owned business, a roofing contracting business, right?
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us about how you started that.
Um, so originally it started off with my husband working with some friends, and family members, and he kind of helped out with that. And I was always helping and leading in that, like aiding here and there with the contracts, writing them out, helping with some of the client communications, and came to a point where, one day I was like, why don't we just do this on our own? We're already doing it and we're splitting it up with other people. Why don't we like it? It's easy for us. Why not? And everything that me and my husband have done, we've done it in a aspect of being fun, that we enjoy it, that we like doing it, and we really did enjoy it. It was easy for us. I know it might not be easy for everybody, and we just took off from that point. It was just, I looked into it. It really was not as difficult as I thought it would be. Kind of figured everything out within a matter of 3 months, and we just took off from that point.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So
And as
really
I mentioned
pretty,
at the
pretty easy to start off.
yeah, and as I mentioned at the start of our live stream, um, with the business of real estate, having a great roof, the right roof over your
Yeah.
head is so important. My next question is, how has your business changed with any like new roofing technology? Is it such that right now there are certain types of roofs that have a longer useful life? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so I would say that the technology basis on roofing has changed our industry over the last, I would say, 10 years, especially, but more prominently in the last 5. There's so many different apps and services that us as roofing contractors, there's a lot of conferences and a lot of continuing education that we go to. We learn new aspects of the roof, we learn more specs, we learn more different methods of installation to elongate the life. Realistically, there's a lot of different aspects in roofing. We specialize mainly in flat roofs and shingle roofs. um, there's slate, there's obviously metal roofing, there's all different tars as well. But realistically, the way to maintenance your roof and to keep it lasting long is to do maintenance. A lot of people have that idea that you install a roof, you get a 30-year warranty or a lifetime warranty, and then you just don't do nothing to it.
Yeah.
That's not the case scenario, especially where you live at. We live here in the Midwest. So we get all different elements of all different weather. So one of the things that I do educate my clients, and that's the difference between our company with a lot of other companies, is education. Yes, you got your roof and it has a 30-year manufacturer's warranty. We have our labor warranty as well, but there's maintenance. I cannot give you a 30-year warranty if you're not maintaining your roof. That means you're doing caulking, you're making sure the debris is out of your gutters, making sure that you're checking any pop nails or, etc. The seams on a flat roof, you want to go and check the seams. All the aspects of all your vents and your protrusions, your chimney stack, all that stuff. You want to make sure that all those things are being handled every 4 to 5 years. You want to have like a roof inspection to go check that. I feel a lot of customers don't understand that. They think, oh, I just spent all this money, that's it, I'm done. It's the same thing as your car. You get it, you have to oil it, you have to check it. The same thing as your refrigerator, you need to clean it out. It doesn't clean itself. Same thing with your stove. That's why it has an oven cleaner. You need to make sure that you're cleaning it. If you're not maintaining something, you can't expect the lifespan to last as long as it does. So I
Yeah.
think that's just a stigma that a lot of times that, you spend all this money and that's it, I'm done. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be where, because again, you have elements, you have wind, hail, snow, sleet, you have ice, you have all these things. And anything that it has a seam in it has the potential to lift, expand, water can get into it. And you want to make sure that you're handling that properly.
Yeah, it's so true. There's no such thing as no maintenance. It may
Mm-hmm.
be low maintenance, but great example. It's kind of like the cars that we own and drive. Whether right now all of us are still driving gas combustion cars or the new wave, which is EV. You still have to rotate the tires. You have to get new tires, etc., etc. Um, so, Kathleen, let's get your perspective on this. When you have fixed and flipped or fixed and held multi-unit properties or even single-family homes, what has been your experience? Is the investment in a new roof one of the larger dollar investments as part of that project? Can you talk to us about that?
100%. Roof tends to be one of the higher cost item on the actual scope of work. But before, and this is where Jackie can bring a lot of value. I tell my clients, even myself, I bring my roofer in or a specialized roofer to assess the roof. Sometimes you don't need to replace the whole roof. Sometimes you might get away with just a new layer of roofing, depending on the condition of the roof. Sometimes on a flat roof, you might get away with a silver dollar coating and recaulking the joints, or on a shingles roof, you can get away with another layer or just replacing the shingles, or as Jackie said, making sure all the nails and everything is in order. So what I would say is, before when you do your home inspection, make sure you have the right people that check everything, right? Don't assume that just because the roof might look good is in good shape. You just have to bring a professional out there to tell you exactly, hey, you can get away with maybe a small patch, or you have to do a whole cut and then just pull the whole roof out and put a new one. It all depends on the condition. And as Jackie said, if the owner before has been maintaining it, then guess what? You might get lucky. But if they didn't care about it and they had lots of issues, then that could be a very costly item on your list.
Yeah, very true. Jackie, I know how I met Ivan, your husband, and you is through your social media group on Facebook, I believe, called Southwest Housing Providers Group. So before you have to bounce from our live stream, talk to us
I have
about
some time.
okay. Talk to us about why you started this group. What is the mission of the group? And maybe share with our audience members who may be first-time investors, experienced investors, as to what they can benefit from with your group.
Okay. So going into my group and just getting an idea of that, real quick, I wanted to touch on something because Kathleen, you said something about like your getting a housing inspector. So one of the things is that you have to, just so I can aid you in that area, a lot of housing inspectors that go out there, they're not certified roofers, they're not certified electricians. They kind of have a general overview of just things, but they're not certified to give you advice 100% because they're not state licensed. So anytime that you're working with an inspector, you do want to make sure that that person understands that. But if not, that's something that our company allows, Roofing by Hernandez, is we do roof certifications as well. Find a company that also can do that, because yes, a lot of the times we do get real estate agents or people that want to buy a house. We educate them that you want a full report and you want to see the conditions of the roof and what needs to be done. Obviously, that's a tactic that you can use through negotiation. Most roofers are not going to want to go out there for somebody that wants to purchase a house or wants to sell it, because again, we know that you're going to utilize our services for free for the benefit of that. So if you actually call a roofing company and you actually pay for their service just the way that you did a home inspection, most roofers will want to help you and work out with you and give you the full scope of everything so that it can really benefit you. But in the most case scenarios, people are like, well, just send me pictures, I'll look on Google Maps and I'll give you a verbal thing. You can't really take that paperwork and use that towards negotiation or towards like talking about your contract. So it is beneficial that you pay up front and you pay the right people, because yes, you may spend $200, $400, but think about buying the house and spending thousands of dollars on something that you weren't really discussed or disclosed, that, having the full basis of what is going on with that roof.
100%. Perfect.
So if that makes So it's not just a home inspection, just because a home inspector may not specialize in certain areas. If you do feel that you're purchasing, especially on a multi, family property or a fix and flip, it's, why not spend the 200 on an electrician, a 50, 100, whatever that consultation is, especially if you feel that, you want to get that, even not just on the roofing standpoint, right? Like masonry, if you want to talk about electricity, if you want to talk about your furnace or anything in the heating, why not pay that $100, $200 consultation versus spending thousands of dollars and dumping it in that one area? I think that's the one thing that, with inspectors or like just in general, they're not going to aid you 100%. I'm not trying to downsize anybody, but also as investors, we need to be, if we're going to invest in this property, do it right. Right? Like spend the money. Don't be cheap about it. Don't go cut corners. Don't try to get everything for free, because realistically, you're not building that value and that relationship where you have that one contractor that's going to want to consistently want to work with you, because they don't really have a benefit. What's the benefit of me if you're just utilizing my services and I really don't have that relationship with you?
Yeah,
100%.
But in regards to Southwest Housing Providers Group, so me and my husband were going to a lot of networking events, and they were good, but I just felt that the transparency was not there. There wasn't people saying, hey, it was more like I have A and I got to Z, and I was like, well, how did you get to B, C, D, E, F, G? Like, can I know a little bit more layers, or can you be a little bit more transparent with me? Can you disclose, like, how did you scale, or what difficulties that you encountered, right? Or, I would see newcomers come and they were kind of afraid to go and talk, or they were afraid to say like where they needed help and assistance. So as me going to different networking groups and just seeing that, I felt that there was a disconnect where I could come in and really aid our communities. And Southwest Housing Providers Group, we're part of the MBOA, and that's why we specialize in the Southwest, because that's where I also invest. But there was nobody really saying like, hey, how do you scale? What loan officers do you go to? What contractors you have to go to? What are the things that you should be avoiding? What are the major costs in regards to fix and flips? We do a lot of videos, as well educating our client, like our base, like our community base. Also, there was nobody coming in saying, oh, hey, like greeting you at that front table. It was just like, go in and sign in, and there's a table over there, and get a name tag. And, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know nobody. I don't know what to do. So with my way of doing things is come in, you sign in, we greet you, we welcome you, we ask you, we kind of know like if it's your first time or not, we can kind of tell already. We've been doing it for so long now. We're about to hit our 1 year next year, and we've done almost 16 events in one full calendar fiscal year, not not within just 2023, also going into 2024. So we're able to say, oh, you're new? Okay, let me introduce you to somebody. And that's a huge icebreaker. And I feel that not a lot of people do that. You go in somewhere and you're kind of like left on your own to fend on your own. And it could be really nerve-wracking for even some adults. Like they don't know who to talk to. They don't want it to be super cliquey. They're like, there's already established relationships. So one of the things that we do is trying to make everybody feel welcome and making sure that we introduce you to people in the room. And as soon as we see that somebody's a little staying stagnant and a little quiet, we go up to them and we approach them. We ask them how they're doing. We kind of move them around the room to introduce them to other people. Like, what are you here for? Like, do you need a loan officer? Do you need pest control? Like, let me introduce you to a couple of people, or let me introduce you to people that have similar portfolio as you, or somebody else that's more well-versed, so that this way you can feel comfortable. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to create that. Also, being somebody that grew up and was raised on the South Side, I just didn't feel that there was ever somebody for me to look up to. When I first started doing this, being a housing provider, there really wasn't no support. I watched HDD TV all the time, and that was my support system. And they weren't very transparent either. They were just dun, dun, dun. They had an issue, and the next slide was always them figuring it out. But you didn't see all those hurdles that they went through. So I wanted to create that community where we're just having natural conversations, but I'm also educating and teaching and telling everybody the right things to do, like the RLTO, giving them updates about changes in our community, talking about the laws that we're fighting, because at the end of the day, there are enough seat at the table for us to all be able to actually them to hear our feedback. So part of the MBOA is that they're fighting the laws that affect us housing providers. So Southwest being a part of that community is educating everybody on the Southwest side. Like, this is the new bills that they're going to pass. This is what's going on. This is why we need your support. This is why we need your aid. This is so that they can feel informed, right? A lot of times there's things moving parts and there's nobody there talking about it or educating or advocating about it. So it's create all different aspects, education, advocacy, and the community involved. And I also have another online forum, which is Chicago Friendly Landlord Group as well. That's another just online base. And that also has a lot of people in there. I think right now we're at 5,300 members online. So that allows you just to have complete just online communication with other housing providers and service providers in the community, so that this way you can ask those questions, get that advice, mind you, at your own will, because everybody does things differently, right? But at least you can have people to talk to, and you can have something if you're not feeling coming on to, the in-person meetups. That's what Southwest does. But you have an online forum that you can at least feel like, okay, well, I can start developing some sort of understanding, some sort of a community as well. That's just specifically online. So my basis was for me to create something for my younger self. Like, I'm healing my younger self through this, right? Because I didn't have that, but now I get to give it to others, and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah, that's great. It's great that you're very intentional in creating these two social groups, these two platforms, to give back and also share. Kathleen, as we shift to what you've got going on today, you mentioned you've got a closing today at 12 o'clock. You're certainly not going to do an April Fool's joke with your clients. That's probably a great idea. Are you representing a client that's flipping a property or selling a held property?
So I'm excited. Today I'm representing a client buying their condo. Tomorrow I'm closing on a property that we just bought. We got under contract 2 weeks ago, and I'm very excited about that one. It showed up on the market, and I called the agent like 30 seconds. I rarely find good deals on the market, but this one was a great deal. And I said, hey, I said, get it off the market right now, all cash. I'll close whenever you want, as is, no inspection. I mean, I waived everything. I waived my earnest money contingency. I said everything. He's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "I am positive. Let's do it." So it was a good deal. I think I know he mispriced it a little bit, which it was definitely in my advantage. So very very excited about it. We're closing tomorrow on it. That's going to be a hold, but we're still going to fix it. Put a new kitchen, new bathrooms, tuck pointing, a little bit of landscaping, couple of windows changed, and then we're gonna hold it, with a CHA client, which it's really nice. It's in my area where I buy, and so it's going to be exciting. That's what I have. And to Jackie's point, I'm so excited we met. I'm actually part of your Chicago Friendly Landlord Group, which I love everything that's happening there. So that's amazing. And I love exactly what you just said, right? I feel the same way. I feel like I need to show my younger self, right, and help others not make the same mistakes. So we share. I feel like between Bill, you, and I, and a lot of other people in the industry, I'm glad to see that more people are stepping up to do a lot more education and help other investors and everybody else not to go through the pains that probably you've been, or I've been, or Bill has been at the beginning of our careers. So super excited, super grateful that we got connected. So yeah, very nice.
Wonderful. Kathleen, question. For today's episode, can you drop your 3 secrets as to how you make sure your offer is accepted by a seller?
Absolutely. Before we go, I think Jackie wanted to add something, and then we'll jump in.
Okay.
Sorry, Jackie.
Oh, thanks. So I wanted to add something. I know that you talked about continuing education, and obviously me bringing the Southwest and Chicago Friendly Landlord also helps, but I'm also creating my own boot camp class as well. I'm much more of a boot camp person. I'm not going to be a workshop person because that's not my personality. I'm doing something in regards to continuing education and property management for investors. I'm going to go over everything from tenant screening to your ledgers to work order repairs. I'm actually creating that course right now,
Wow.
and I'm looking to launch it in May. So if anybody is interested in that or like be on the lookout for that, just because having so many years of experience, I have over 15 years of experience. I have an office. Obviously, I run the property management aspect of it. I've been doing a lot of presentations, and there's been a really great response to it. So that's something also that I'm also doing, just so that, you know, if you or anybody else needs of it, please let me know so that I can add them to our email list. But yeah, we're going to be hosting it in Oak Brook. It'll be in May, so I'll be launching that pretty soon.
Beautiful. Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
awesome. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do need better landlords all around. So thanks for
Yes.
doing that. Thanks for doing
True.
that.
No problem.
All right. So to wrap it up, I would say, Bill, to answer your question, top three strategies. We know number one, it's always understanding what's important to the seller, right? Always give them what they want, or as close to what they want as possible, right? So,
Right.
uh, making sure that if you come with a lower price than an ask, I always come prepared. I do not lowball without arguments and without. Sorry, 1 second. All right. I never lowball. I never come with a lower offer unless I have the right comps and the right proof of why I'm coming lower, right? So making sure that you explain, hey, the reason the price is not there is because several homes around your place didn't sell that high. So let's meet somewhere in the middle, okay? Secondly, if I really want, I'll give you this example. I will waive all sorts of contingencies,
I
right?
heard
So
that. Yes.
I've done this for a while. So at the end of the day, I kind of understand a little bit the cost between, how much it's going to cost me to fix a window, how much it's going to cost me to fix a kitchen, right? A bathroom and everything else. So I am not concerned. Sometimes, I will say I'll waive everything, inspection. I'll waive, I'll buy the property as is. I will not nickel and dime you, and I will close in 2 weeks, right? And
Yeah.
then, lastly, cash is king. Clearly, I don't have all cash on hand all the time. So doing business with a lender that can close fast and that can be behind me, right? So, for example, I always have my lender call the actual seller and explain, listen, this is how it works. We've done X amount of deals. These guys are going to close in 10 days, 12 days, depending on how fast we need to close, and we'll get the deal done, right? So I would say that the number one, price, making sure that you come in and give the client what they want. Secondly is waiving contingencies, and thirdly, timing, making fast and bringing the right team behind you to support you and market you.
Wonderful top three tips for those of you who are watching this episode. And if you do not yet have the right relationship with a broker to represent you, and with what Kathleen has shared with you, it just might compel you to say, how do I get in touch with this guy, Kathleen? Simply scan his QR code that you see here in this portion of the live stream and the recording. And along the way, of course, if you are not paying cash for a subject property to be bought with Kathleen, if you do need financing, simply scan the QR code next to my name and picture. The two of us would be glad to start a conversation with you to help you get to the outcome that you need and that you want. And so, as we wrap up, Jackie, thank you for sharing your time with us. As your boot camp in Oak Brook takes shape, I will hit you up to see if you would like to guest appear to talk about the specifics of that boot camp. And maybe because it's in Oak Brook, it's in my backyard. Maybe I can convince Catalina to drive down this way. We'll see each other in person. How's that?
Yeah, definitely like that. And anybody that's interested in learning a little bit more of what I do, I spoke at Windy City REI. They have a presentation on their YouTube channel that gives you a little bit more about that. It just is about an hour and 30 minutes, so we'll say a little lengthy. And that was just the tenant screening process, and I didn't even go fully in depth with it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anybody wants a glimpse of it, they can get a little taste of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kathleen, Jackie, don't do any harsh April Fool's jokes
Yeah,
with you and yours. Keep it friendly, I guess. That's important.
yeah.
So until we see each other in the next episode of Flipping That House, have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, you too. Have a good month, everybody.
Yeah,